here, Dwen Curry. Hi, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm good, babe. How you doing?
Good. You are looking fabulous today. I love your look, your hair, everything. I know you got your style team with you, so shout out to them.
Oh yeah, of course, a splash of cherry is always necessary when it comes to the king of hair. That is definitely him. So, it's definitely appreciative and all of that. And you know what? I don't even look at it as if like some type of reality star. Because some things are scripted,
Mm-hmm.
when you deal with reality television. And mine isn't.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It just organically comes into play because there's a difference when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to his story and history.
Yeah.
His story, he can tell whatever he wants to tell, but history, you can't snatch that.
You better say
So I
that.
don't know. I would kind of like beg to differ from, a little
Okay.
scripted version. It's
Most
more of
definitely.
a documentary.
That is it. That is true. And it is definitely a documentary, and I loved everything about it. Boy, when I told you, before I said I was, I enjoyed it, and I could, relate because you know how you have friends and different things
Hmm.
and experiences that you went through in the past or what, what have you. But also, you had me cracking up, during this commentary here. It was so hilarious, but also it was serious at the same time. We
Well,
got
girl, what was funny?
I, it was just the way you was
What was funny?
I'm
Let me
trying
know
to
what was
tell
funny.
you, the way you was telling the story. I mean, it was just like different things like that you were. It wasn't funny, but I know it was. You had us cracking up the way you was commentating the story. I was like, oh my god, he got me rolling. Like it was just different parts. If people haven't seen, I don't want to tell them,
Yeah.
all the good stuff, but
You
but
know the
anyway,
thing of,
how did you come about this opportunity to even tell your story on, everything you went through?
well, I have a girlfriend of mine, and her name is Dion
Okay.
Piran. And ever since I've known her for, oh my God, like over probably 25 years or something like that.
Hmm.
She's seen the highs and she's also seen the lows. And she was extremely relentless, and, gingerly going forth with actually telling my story.
Yeah.
And, she was just extremely adamant about it. I was adamant. We were talking. She said, I wish it was a way I could tell your story, because, the only thing is that, you're not a woman. I said, well, Deanne, I'm transgender because I
Hmm.
am transgender. There's a transformation, at later on down the line. Hopefully, I will be able to execute some type of education around it so that people could get it. And, Dion knows I was out there in them streets just like the dudes were.
Hmm.
I got my dudes from Detroit. I got my dudes from Oakland. I got my dudes from LA. I don't really run around with, or I didn't at that particular time because I was in the streets. I did not hang around my kind. That's not what it was. I was in the streets, I was getting money, and how I had to get the money was with my ninjas. So I dealt with my ninjas the way I needed to accordingly. The queens, I would see them when, it would be a pass by. And it's always been a respect factor because all of them are my sisters, but I'm not the only one with a story like this. It's a plethora that comes into play that the children will hopefully get a chance to be able to see.
Yes, but what I did learn, how you told, how you went through your process, your, your change, and the process of going from Detroit to going
Mhm.
to Oakland. You
Right.
had a uncle, I think that was. Your
Yes.
uncle. And he was a drug counselor.
Right. What ended up happening when I was in Detroit
Mm-hmm.
and I had just became so disheveled with my
Mm-hmm.
life. It was just really, really bad. And, there were, a multitude of things that actually took into play before I actually moved to Oakland, because I don't want to give everything up because the book is coming out
Yeah.
and then,
Okay.
there's some other endeavors as well, but just to kind of bring you guys into a rim of things, once I moved there, it was just, once I moved to Oakland, my uncle he said, "Are you gay?" And, that was,
Yeah.
I laughed hysterically because, and I believe it was the anxiety. And then really and truly, I didn't know, you know, how I would actually be accepted or rejected. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was a big thing for me, especially coming out, because my family is everything. You know what I'm saying? I always
Yeah.
wondered about my mother. She's like the top priority. And so when I think of something like that and just evolving into oneself, it was just really important to be able to have that support because there were so many people in the community that I was from that have been just disowned and
Mm-hmm.
removed. When I grew up, I never formed into um, myself like now when I was younger because transgenders at that time, they called them drag queens,
Mm-hmm.
cross dressers. Well, when they would turn a trick with a guy wouldn't have a problem doing whatever it is that they did. But at the end of the trick, the trick would turn around and slit their throat and cut their private parts off and shove them down their throat and wrap their panties around their throat. So that always discouraged me for a great time. So once I ended up moving into, California, I was just, it was, I just caterpillared. It's just kind of like how a caterpillar goes, through different metamorphoses, and then all of a sudden they end up being like a butterfly and that type of thing. That's what it was like for me. I just,
Wow.
you know, I evolved.
Now
It
what
might be slow, but it's for sure.
I know. Now what made you want to tell your story? Because whether it doesn't matter if you're transgender or what have you, it's always, kind of, you know, not easy to tell your story to so many people on,
Right.
watching online and on TV, on national TV. So, I mean, it's not always easy. So, how did you say, okay, hey, I'm ready to tell the world about me? I'm ready to let everybody know who Dwen Curry is.
I would imagine that I just know for me, I would say, you know, the first time that I actually got shot.
Mm,
So when I got shot, that particular time, I didn't know that, I was acquiring history, that, that this would be like some type of redundant, repetitive cycle where I would end up getting shot again. And then they want to keep kidnapping me and things of that nature. And once I became incarcerated and I was able to sit down and be still, is when there was an epiphany for me. And I said, I have a story.
mm-hmm.
And I know I have a story because, you can't make this shit up. I'm sorry, can I swear? I didn't, I didn't know if I could swear or not. I apologize. Yeah. But
It's
no, so that's, pretty much that's when.
Now, also, even with you, what, your movement, being able to tell your story and everybody being able to see you, what I would say for anybody out there that is maybe transgender, or anybody out there, what message would you want to give to the people? Because, like, to me, you are amazing and you have an
Thank
amazing
you.
story. And I've been knowing you. You're just
Yes.
awesome to
Yes.
me. So, what
And
message?
you and as you are to me, and
Yeah,
just to intervene just a bit, because I won't go on. I remember my first time meeting you. It was with Rat and everything, and so everything was just organic with us. So you
yes.
could go ahead and proceed.
Yes, I was just saying, you're just awesome. And I always, I follow you. I always see you always working. You're so inspirational to me. And that's why I was like, man, we got to get him on the show.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I love all the support. I
Yes,
really do. I love all the support. Whatever it's about redemption, and then just, being able to explain to people, all that glitters is not necessarily gold,
yes,
and for me, when I ended up embedding myself in, the realm of things that I was doing in the life of crime,
hmm,
I actually made a conscious decision that, you know what? Okay, you already know. At some point, your ass gonna get caught. You know this, right? So you could either bail out gracefully right now,
hmm,
but if you move from this day forward, then you gotta recognize that, this is war. And that's what it was for me. And you had to make a conscious decision, because my whole thing is that you know what you signed up for. So
yep,
if you know what you signed up for, don't turn around and bring nobody into your circumference of what's going on with you,
that's true.
and then inflict it upon them. And then hold yourself accountable. What you running for? Remember the
Yeah,
man said what he said on the show? I want you in that fucking Maserati. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not how you talk to somebody when you
no.
want something.
And then
I
when he got in
know
the
you're not talking to
Maserati,
me, and I'm indicted, and I ain't got to go in. I'm waiting on my attorney to go. Motherfucker, we could do this. Now, what you want to do? Then when we get there, he get it. He get the motherfucker. How do you start this? Motherfucker, you wanted it, so you learned. You figure that shit out. You wanted the motherfucker, so you figure it out. Period.
yeah,
Boom.
yep. Now that's a sneak peek if you haven't seen already. Look,
No, I had to swear so much. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to regress on the swear words. So I'm a work in progress.
okay. We all are. We all are work in progress. But I am like, I'm so excited for you being able to, talk about everything, your transition, like you said, from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Yeah, it's just, you just go through different metamorphoses.
You do.
And a lot of times you just don't know, you know, how life is going to change you. The only thing that I can remember, well, that's not the only thing, but it's one of the most important things that I do remember, aside from my uncle just telling me just to evolve into myself, was that the only thing that does not change is change itself.
Mm-hmm.
Change never changes. So you just kind of like, it's almost like when you fight the change, and you're like, say you're at Niagara Falls and you're swimming against the current, and you drowning and there's so much going on.
Hmm.
But then when you turn around and you go with the flow of how it's rolling, then it's a lot more, you know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's a
Yeah.
lot easier. So, I just learned how to just kind of like, go with the flow to a certain degree, contingent upon what it is.
Most definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Now, with this being released, since the release, what is your, what's next? What are your plans for the rest of 2021?
It's a lot that I am
That you can.
definitely, I am really excited about it. And I think you guys will be really excited about it as well. I know that there was a cliffhanger that was left,
Mhm.
and everyone, they want to know more. So let's just see if we could give them more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ooh, gotta give them more. We ready.
No, yeah, no, absolutely.
I'm ready.
No, I mean, hey, won't he do it
Won't he do it? Yes.
all the
And
time?
now look
God is
at you.
good all the time.
Now we got also I just want to tell them, we talked about, the things you went through, but let's talk about all your success real quickly. All your success you've had thus far with the, different people you work with, and just let them know a little bit about that.
No, absolutely. Good grief, where we start? It's, you so funny. I really never, I never really, I never really tripped too much off of my pedigree.
Hmm.
Because my pedigree is what it is. You just can't take that away. I don't care
Yes,
if I don't work with certain clients and they don't like me or whatever. You still can't take away that
you
we don't
take it
work together,
away.
and that type of thing. But, it's been a great deal. There's been a laundry list, there is a plethora of the greats that have actually allowed me to be in their presence. You know what I'm saying? Which I am extremely honored. I mean, I don't know. We could go what? I mean, of course, it's always Mariah, but I would have never met Mariah if it was not for Brad. And then there's Lisa Ray. As you guys can see, Lisa
Yeah.
Ray is extremely heavy, 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 heavy. But what a lot of people are not familiarized with is that Yolanda, which is Yo Yo, the YOYO, she's the one who actually brought me and inducted me into the whole hip hop everything.
Wow.
He let me assist her girlfriend at the time, Kim, her best friend, on her video. And it was her video, and I'm doing a video with Kim. Kim is showing me how to deal with the clothes. And it was right after Pac and Biggie had gotten killed. And, this is when Levert was alive. And I believe the song is Something's on Your Mind. And it was just like the most beautiful thing. But on that particular shoot, I ended up meeting Missy, which, I love Melissa to death. Like,
Mhm.
Missy is so sweet and adorable. And then I ended up meeting Danny Boy and who else? It was so many of them on there.
Yes.
It was good. It was a really good experience. And so I would say that right there is just what kind of like catapulted
Wow.
me. Yeah.
That's amazing, and you've always been grinding, always grinding, and like I said, I'm
You
just
too.
so
You always grinding whenever I see you.
you
Always
are.
see you. Your ass, you always like for real. Whenever I see you at any award shows or anything, but one thing I love about you is that you remain the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even when I went to prison and once I came home, you were just like, how are you? And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, that was important because when it came to Hollywood, I felt ostracized. You know, the children had totally alienated me.
Mm.
And they were glad that they did it. But you know what? The bitch is back.
Yes.
So they can play if they want to. That's
You
what they
better
could
let her
do.
know.
Yeah.
Look, now you on the TV screen. You taking over Hollywood in a different form.
I don't know if I'm taking over Hollywood. The only thing I want to do is just, educate, so that people could see.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go along with that. It looks good. The money looks good. And how about this? I was mad as hell after they done turned around and calculated all that. I knew it was a lot of money, but
But not that much.
I'm like, do y'all really got to do that, right?
Look, what I want to know is
I
how
ain't even
in the world
look
did
like
you?
let the public know I was not in on that shit. I knew it was a lot, but you know what? When you figure that you've been hustling since '92 till 2009, when I get indicted, you got what
That's crazy.
Maserati um in a garage. You got the Benz truck in the garage. You got the Jeep wagon in the garage, and then you got the 745. Me, my little sister, and mother and brother.
Mm,
So I don't know. And then we're not even talking about mortgages. I don't even like to tally that shit up
mm-mm.
because
Not the
it's
mortgages.
at this
Ooh,
point it's a move. Oh no, we're not talking about rent. I said mortgage.
I know. That's what I said.
Yeah,
Mortgage.
I'm crystal clear on all that.
No, no. What? One more question that I had is, how did you memorize those numbers? That's something I cannot do.
Yes, you can because it's pretty much like when you go to a job.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go to a job, there's certain things that are familiarized that you're familiarized with, where it's just embedded in your brain. And so for me, that was my job was to remember that because again, repeating, my mother always told me the least you write down, don't write nothing down if you don't have to.
Dang.
Keep everything up here. So I
Yeah.
still got phone numbers, you know, up in my head. And people always say, oh my God, you don't remember me. Well, you know what? I have to remember what's relevant and what's not relevant. And not saying that the people might not be relevant, but I know this up here with me keeping them numbers is getting ready to be more relevant for me to, you know what I'm saying, so that I can
Mm-hmm.
stay free. So I just kept everything. It comes from um being groomed and cultivated
Okay.
at a very early age and doing more of this and less of this.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't do a lot of that. I used to like to look and see. And growing up, I had a
Mm-hmm.
very, very interesting lifestyle. It wasn't bullying or anything like that. I was placed around the best and was not hurt. That only one I had that problem with was that boy with that skate. Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's be clear.
And you said,
Girl, I knocked that.
he
I
said,
I knocked
he
that.
said,
I
he
knocked
went
that
back
nigga.
home. Mama said, you better take that
Girl,
skate.
I knocked that nigga from here to Jerusalem. Do you hear me?
He said, I ain't have to worry about it no more.
Girl, and then what they well, I ain't gonna go into all that, but it was things ended up being really, really nice between us at a latter
Mm-hmm.
time. And
Oh,
well, why wouldn't you just say that? Well, I didn't know. Okay, well, you got that skate though. So,
That was that. It wasn't hilarious, but he said, "I got to skate."
Girl,
Yes.
is I was so sick of their asses. I mean, we used to go to Northland Skating Rink right there in Detroit, honey.
Hmm.
And it would be all the Pony Boys, YBIs, and all of them. And honey, we'd be up in there and we'd be skating. This is before BMF
Mm.
even came into play. You know, it was Young Boys Incorporated. It was the Pony Boys, and I was the youngest one, and they were all paid. We will have us a good time, and they could not stand dragging me along, especially my cousin Alicia.
Mm.
But girl, she dragged me along, and I didn't care that she didn't like it. I had a good time.
Yeah. Now
So
also,
I got a lot. I got cultivated, really being around them, seeing how they move and stuff like that. Pancho, Timmy Peoples, all of them. I mean, it was just you know, it was a great time for me.
and they said you was the riot baby.
Girl, that's what they say. Yeah. I guess that's why I keep causing so much
The
ruckus.
riot, the
I guess
riot
I'm,
baby.
yeah, I'm causing ruckus. They say no,
Now
nah.
tell us where anybody they wanted to, connect with you, book you for any appearances or, Zooms or StreamYards.
Well,
Where can they go?
you are hilarious. Well, my manager is definitely DM Theorem Para, you
Hmm.
know. And then I also have Tony Mercedes, which he's extremely epic. And
Hmm.
my publicist, which is Tiffany, and she's at the Kaufman Agency. But if you want to reach me directly, then you could go to Dwen, the original diva. D is in Delta. D is in D is in Delta. Do I know my name? D is in Delta. W is in whiskey. E is in echo. N is in November. The and then original. Oscar, Romeo, India, Gina, India, November, Apple, and then Lima, and then
Yes.
Diva. So Lynn, the original Diva.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Well, I have enjoyed you here today. We would love to welcome you back anytime. Any updates you have going on, we are here anytime. You are welcome. I'm going to tell you. But I want to say congrats to you on, everything you got going on, your projects, and many more. I
Mm,
hope, to see you, continue to speak your truth and speak to others, to
right.
inspire others. And I just thank you for being our guest today here at the Nikki Rich Show.
Well, you my baby anyway, so I'm not really bugging. But girl, don't nobody want to hear from me. No, my sister and brother say I talk too much, and especially my mother. But we'll see how I go.